Hello, hello. Let's do a little AV check. I see a few people on, so let me know that you can hear me okay. Looks like my little equalizer is working all right. Just using the audio straight from the computer. Hey, Michelle, thank you very much. I am clear. Are you talking about my pores? Or are you talking about the audio? Or what do you mean by I am clear? Because, you know, you and I going back and forth. Anyway, thank you. Okay, thanks for clarifying that we're talking about my pores. So I'm assuming that you can see me okay. Looks like you can see me all right. Tell me how much of a difference this ring light makes if I turn it off. Not bad. I mean, you can still see me okay right here, it looks like, but I just got a new ring light. It's pretty cool. Here, let me show you. Right off of Wish. I've been buying a lot of things on Wish lately. If you don't have the Wish app, man, it's very cool. So welcome. Looks like it's top of the hour right now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Appreciate all of you jumping on here. So what we're going to do, this is not going to be a 4-hour video live stream event like the official launch video was a few weeks back. I promise it won't be 4 hours. I'm not going to tell you how long it's going to be. I'm guessing, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. It just depends on how many questions and engagement that we have going on. So as you come on in, let me know that you're here. Hello, Sneha. Hello, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. We got both Michelles in the house. I look smarter with the light, huh? Okay, well, I should probably turn it off then because I don't want to fool people. I'm all about truth and transparency. So anyway, I'm doing this video for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to make an announcement about the channel. I'm shifting a few things around. And number two, yes, hey, Jamie. Number two, I want to do some Q&A and give you a little bit of a few of my thoughts on the three things that I mentioned here, which are messaging, marketing, and mindset. Those are three big areas for a lot of new coaches where a lot of people get stuck. So hey, MJ, Margaret, it's good to see you. As you come on in, go ahead and let me know that you're here. If you're on your phone and you click, hello, Vicky, if you just click the link out of Facebook, it won't take you directly to YouTube. Facebook will keep you on Facebook, and you're going to have to get off of Facebook if you want to actually engage and comment here. So let me see if I can show you this. I'm not positive that I can. So on Facebook, on your phone, let's see, it's still loading. You click it, and you can kind of tell that you're still in Facebook because it sort of opens up its own little window, sort of within the window. Hello, Robin. And there are three, it doesn't necessarily have to load all the way, but there are three little buttons up here. There you go. So if you're inside Facebook, there are three little buttons up here. And if you actually, there are buttons, horizontal buttons and then vertical buttons. Either one of them is fine. If you click the horizontal buttons, you'll get these options that say open in Safari or open in, if you're on an Android, which you shouldn't be. But if you are on an Android, it'll say like open in internet or desktop or something like that. You click on that, or the little vertical buttons, it will say desktop, something like that. And if you click on that, it'll actually take you to the YouTube app, assuming that you have it on your phone. And therefore, What was I saying? Buttons? Oh, sorry. Yeah, they are dots. Thank you. Dots, not buttons. Well, they could be buttons. Kind of look like snowman buttons. So anyway, some people get frustrated because they can't figure out how to comment and how to actually interact and like the video or subscribe and so forth. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And I want to show you how to set up notifications, because one of the things that is important when you're building a channel, and I know pretty much all of you are coaches. If you're in my community and you got this notification, then you're a coach, or you want to be a coach, or you're just interested in marketing and on some level. So, hello, Carrie. Oh yeah, logged in from an old account. No worries, Joanne or Joan. Hello, hello. So one of the things with Facebook is, I'm not Facebook, but YouTube, is that very similar to pretty much all the social media platforms, they want engagement. So that's why if you watch YouTube videos, pretty much everybody's saying, subscribe to my channel and comment down below and like it. And you see things on Facebook, you know, people are doing live videos and they're all saying the same thing. That's because the platforms really want engagement. And when there's a lot of engagement, then the platforms show the videos more. So if you want to help my channel and you want to help these videos get some legs and some traction, then like them, engage being comment on them or share them when you want. But I answer every comment that I get notified on. And so I just want you to know, if you have questions or you have comments about any of the videos, make a comment and I'll get back to you at some point in time. Might not be immediate, but I will get back to you. And a lot of people don't comment on videos because their comments don't get responded to. So I will respond to you, but you got to know when I respond to you. Sometimes I'll ask a question back to you. So I want to show you how to set up your notifications. If I can figure this out. I thought I could just share my screen, and maybe I can't. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can do something with these buttons in the top. Participants. All right, well, I thought I could just flip the screen pretty easily. Not flip it, but show you my screen pretty easily. And it looks like I cannot. So I'm just going to explain it to you. I can show it to you, though, in the app. When you're logged in, you click on your little avatar up there, and then click on settings. When you go to settings, there is a place for notifications. Trying to get out of the ring lights there. Notifications. And then you go to notifications, and there's an option to where you can get notified when people do, like, they like your comments, or they reply to your comments, or they mention you, or any of that. I don't even know. Can you guys see this the right way, or do you see it backwards? I'm seeing it backwards. So anyway, if you have your notifications set up, then when you comment on my videos or anybody's videos and people comment back, then you'll actually get a notification. You might even get an email. Depends on how you have your notifications set up. So Dana, Serge, hello, hello. It's good to see some of your names, and some of you I know were on the live stream a while back. So that's one thing I wanted to share. And then another thing is we're about a month into this video, or to this channel, this official launch of the channel. I have hundreds of videos on my channel, but this official channel of weekly videos and real strategic video content based on keywords and what people are searching for and all that sort of stuff. We're about a month in. And I started to publish videos on Thursdays. At least I tried on Thursdays. And I'm about 50%. I think I published 2 videos on Thursdays, and I think I published 2 videos on Fridays. And what I'm finding is that's very difficult for me to manage to publish the videos on Thursdays. And then if it gets pushed to Fridays, now we're in the weekend, and it's hard for me to continue to, talk about the videos on the weekends and so forth. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to move it to Mondays. So all the videos are going to come out on Mondays, and it gives me a chance to edit them. If you've seen my videos, you know I'm loving editing and adding bloopers and stuff like that. But it gives me a chance to continue talking about the video as well, because we won't go directly into the weekends. And it feels like Monday comes and it's like a whole new chapter for the week. And that video really didn't get a whole lot of love for it. So I'm going to start publishing videos on Mondays. And if that changes at some point, then I might push it back to Tuesdays. But for now, we are doing it on Mondays. Okay, cool, Joan. Thanks for letting me know that you guys saw that the right way. And I would love for you to like this video. I see only one of you have liked this video. At least that's what I'm seeing. And luckily I've been dealing with my fear of rejection and abandonment for a long time, but it still stings a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Okay, 2 people liked it. Thank you. Thank you for whoever just clicked the like button. I just want you to know you made me happy. Let's see. So what have we done so far? Oh, 4 likes now. I appreciate that. Wow, my enoughness just doubled in a matter of seconds. That's very, very nice of all of you guys. And sometimes we just have to just shamelessly ask for approval, right? And affection. Now I have 7 likes. Holy cow. Okay. So the first month has been mostly on certifications. We're talking about one of the common questions that a lot of people have. Michelle, you can't be multitasking. I just got a notification on my phone that you just shared something with me in Google. And yet you're supposed to be here paying attention to the video and liking and commenting on the video. Oh, look, she just gave me a thumbs down. Was that you? Awesome. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted, this is the Michelle. If you saw the bloopers from one of the videos, I said, freaking Michelle. There you go. Again, freaking Michelle. Jeez. Right, Vicky? 10 likes. I know, double digits. 11. That was my number in baseball. All right, so the first month of the channel, we've been talking about certifications a lot. That's one of the most common questions that people who want to become coaches have. And so we've talked about, do you even need a certification? We talked about what certification you should get. And I talked about the difference between an online certification and an offline certification. So if you didn't see any of those videos, you can go back and look at those on my channel. I think I can go back and put a link up here once this is over. So if you're watching this on replay, you probably will be able to see a link there. And in the future, we're going to get more specific. So my whole mission in this channel and what I like to teach people who want to be coaches or people who are coaches is really the inner game as well as the marketing piece. Now, most people are focusing way too much on the marketing piece and they're not focusing enough on the inner game. And I'm just so much more about the inner game because I know that's really what causes people to succeed or fail. It's managing the fears and managing the visibility challenges and managing the trauma that comes up and managing the rejection and managing all the stuff that we have to deal with when we put ourselves out there and say, I can help you change your life. I can help you lose weight, make more money, build a business, whatever it is. When you step forward and say, I can help you, that's where all the good stuff comes up, right? That's one of the beautiful things about being a coach is it'll put you face to face with all your fears. And it's an invitation to clear your mirror if you want. It's also an invitation for a lot of people to quit when it gets tough and it gets, it gets a little too hot for people. So it's that inner game that's going to cause more people to fail than it is the tactical stuff about how to market. But obviously those things are important too. So in the upcoming weeks and months and years, as we go on and on with this channel, we're going to talk more specific stuff about the inner game. So a couple of the videos that we have planned are how to gain more confidence as a coach, how to get over your fears, how to deal with imposter syndrome, how to clear your fear of visibility. And then we'll talk some more about the tactical things, marketing stuff, how to sell coaching packages. I have a whole template how to sell. And because most coaches don't like to sell. Most coaches don't like marketing. We don't come out of business school and just decide that we want to be coaches, most of us. We just want to help people, change their lives. And so there are muscles that most of us need to learn on the fly. And I have a template that I'll share with you in a future video. The 15 pillars of persuasion. It's how to be persuasive, how to be influential, how to sell. It's a really cool template. I just used it yesterday to build a sales page out for my program that I'm doing on weight loss for normal people. And it's just amazing to have a template. You just flow, and it allows you to come up with your ideas better than when you think, what do I do to sell people? That just doesn't feel good for most people. So anyway, we'll talk about sales. We'll talk about marketing, like social media marketing, offline marketing. We'll talk about finding your ideal clients. I mean, I literally have probably 80 bullets on future videos. And so there's going to be no shortage of content here. But if you have specific questions, please ask. Ask in these videos. I've already shared that I will respond, I promise. And, we'll take the questions for those of you that are having either follow-up questions based on the content in the videos, or you just have your own questions, the things that are really bothering you or keeping you up at night or what have you. Let us know, and I'll do videos on them. Steve, welcome. He says, watching here at midnight in the UK. Hello, hello. Oh, that's exciting. Yes, Michelle Lane, clear your mirror. So let's see. I think I've gone through all the housekeeping things. If you're just joining, one of the things that I would love for you to do is comment. I will respond to comments and take questions and so forth. All right, so let's get into the content here. 3 things that I put on the title of this video are messaging, marketing, and mindset. Let me get some water. So messaging. Messaging is whatever you want to teach, basically, right? It's your message. And a lot of people really struggle with what to say, whether it's Facebook posts or Instagram posts or whatever the social media platform is, or what to say in videos, what to say on blog articles. Anytime that you talk about your content, a lot of people get stuck on what to say. It was interesting. I did a speaker training earlier in the year. We had 10 people in the room, and these are all coaches. These are people that have done live events. Some of them, they've got blogs, they've written all kinds of articles, they've done all kinds of videos. And we were going over, like our signature stories. And when it was time to speak, everybody kind of freaked out. They were all like, I don't know what to say. I don't have any stories, right? So it's a natural challenge for people to shut down. Whether you call it stage fright or visibility fears or who cares what the label is. We don't even need a label, but it is normal for people to have the mic turned on and then just kind of go cottonmouth, and you don't really know what to say, or get ready to type a blog article and you don't know where to go. So this is a common one, but it's total BS. I mean, you're a human being, however old you are, 20, 30, 80, 100, however old you are, you have so many stories, so much value. But we tend to take our value for granted. We tend to take the lessons that we've learned for granted because they're not big deals to us, or we feel like we're still in the middle of the challenge. So we don't have the credibility or the right or the permission to get up and teach people. The bottom line is you've learned thousands of lessons in your life. Some of them obviously bigger than others, but I believe that those lessons are not yours to keep. Those lessons were not yours in the beginning. You had to learn them through some sort of challenge, some sort of adversity, or maybe somebody gave you these lessons, whether it was parents or a coach or just somebody that mentored you through a rough time. And those lessons belong to other people. They don't belong inside your mouth or inside your head. So stop robbing people from their breakthroughs because you're afraid to speak about the lessons that you've learned. Now, when we get in our head and our intellect says, yeah, but those lessons need to be perfect, they need to rhyme, they need to have some kind of a template, and it needs to look like this on a website, that's where we shut down. And the value that we have in helping other people gets lost because our intellect is saying that it's not good enough, that it's not perfect, that it needs to look a certain way. And the reality is most of the time that's just crap. Now, of course, there are things that can make your message more magnetic and more attractive to other people, but it cannot attract anybody while it's in your head. And it cannot get polished while it's in your mind or inside your mouth. Your message needs to get clarified outside of you. It needs oxygen. It needs feedback from other people. Your ears need to hear your message out of your mouth, because out of your mouth and back into your ears is a different experience than in your head or on paper, on a computer screen, or written down in a diary or something. The intellect can't massage the message in a way that it actually gets amplified. And obviously inside your head, nobody can hear it. But most people are trying to, or they're demanding perfection before they start sharing their message. And the reality is, even if perfection was possible, it can only happen outside, and it can only happen after repeated attempts at talking, messaging, writing, videos, what have you. And this is just such a common shutdown that people have, you know. I think intellectually we understand that more practice increases our proficiency. And there's a common concept of the 10,000 hours, and it's really applied to like what it takes to become a virtuoso as an instrumentalist. At least that's the way I heard it, and I think that's the context that it usually has. You know, it takes 10,000 hours to become a virtuoso piano player or any other instrument. But the same concept, regardless of whether it's 10,000 hours or not, applies to anything creative. And so what a lot of coaches are doing is they're demanding perfection before they get in motion, yet their message cannot be perfected, even if we adopt the idea that perfection is possible. The message cannot be polished without motion. So there's this catch-22 that a lot of people are in. And my question to you is, what if I told you that you won't find your most powerful message, the one that's going to be your signature talk, or the one that's going to make you a lot of money, or the one that's going to get you your first paying client if you don't have one yet? You're not going to find it until you do 19 presentations. Now, of course, I don't know what the number is, but what I know is that it won't be the first one. Okay. But in order to get to that 19th presentation, you have to go through all these iterations. And if you have the mindset that your earlier presentations, your earlier messages are just preparing you for the message that's waiting for you, then it'll be easier for you to not put so much pressure on yourself whether or not this message flops or it succeeds at the level that we hope and expect it will, right? So we've got to give ourselves the grace and the gentleness and the encouragement that we need to speak in order for the message to evolve. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, a baby. So many phases happen during human development, right? We go through all these phases of infancy, and then toddler, and then young childhood, and preteens, and teenagers, and young adults, and all those things. And a message is similar to that. Might not go through the exact same phases, and it's not necessarily going to take the same amount of time, but we have to get it out of our intellect into the air, into the oxygen, into the ears of other people and ourselves for our message to evolve and crystallize. So if you are waiting for permission to speak up, I give it to you. Nobody needs to come along and give you permission in order to help people. You know, there's somebody out there that's looking on YouTube or looking on social media platform, wherever your seekers are. Somebody out there is dying for the information that you're keeping in your head. And if that feels good to you, then keep it locked up. If it doesn't feel good to you, then open your mouth and speak up, regardless of what you look like, regardless of how early you are in your message development. So what? You got to start in order for the message to evolve, right? By the way, as I'm going through all of this, I've got a couple more notes here, and then I'll get to a couple questions that we've received. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in here, and feel free to continue commenting and engaging. I did see a couple people just took their likes down, so give me a moment so I can deal with that like abandonment. I don't see whether I actually have thumbs down on here. I only see that my likes, my thumbs up went down. So I don't know if people just took it away, like they withdrew it from me because I just said something that pissed somebody off, or if they actually changed it to a thumbs down or what have you. Maybe this is YouTube's way of protecting my emotions, that they actually don't show me the thumbs down, at least while I'm live. Yeah, good. The abandonment's just making me stronger, I guess, huh? Perfect. So let's talk about marketing. This is a huge topic, obviously, with so many subtopics and sub-conversations. I'm going to start talking a lot more online in our communities, not so much in these YouTube videos, but in our communities about marketing. I'm going to start a marketing program in about a month from now for a whole year about the foundations of marketing. So you'll hear more about a lot of these conversations from me. I'll be doing videos and doing webinars and so forth. So be prepared for that. Hey, Sean, good to see you on here. But a few things that are in my mind, just sort of high level marketing, is I want you to understand what marketing actually is. Marketing is simple. Hey, Joan, thank you for that. Marketing is simple. I have an itch on my back. So if it looks like I'm contorting my body, it is. I am, because I have an itch in my back and it's bothering me. And my shoulder really hurts, so it's tough. Hey, Sunny. Sunny's the reason that I am doing this YouTube live, because she threatened me, actually. No. Sunny Lenarduzzi, you guys can see her comment. She teaches how to do YouTube. So if you guys are interested in this, check her out. She's amazing, and she's one of the people that I really, truly admire and trust because she's authentic. So I appreciate you, Sunny. So marketing, let's keep it simple. What is marketing? Marketing is offering the people you want to serve what they want. It's really that simple. But that's not the way so many people approach it, or so many people think about it, right? A lot of people think marketing is in the details, or it's in the tactics and the actual actions. You know, marketing is webinars, and marketing is social media, and marketing are Facebook Lives or YouTube Lives, and all of that stuff is not wrong, because those are components of marketing, but the essence of marketing is very simple. Offer what your people want. That's marketing. The way you offer it is all of those other things, potentially, or other ways. So the way that you offer it is where people get stuck in the weeds, right? Because they focus on all the different details, and that's where the technology challenges come in, and that's where the mental fears come in and all that stuff. But in reality, I don't know why I have this analogy, because I don't drink at all, and I don't think I've ever actually been to a bar. I mean, I've been inside of like a bar for live music, but I don't think I've ever gone up to a bar and actually ordered a drink, other than, you know, like a bar at seminars or something. I usually just get water or Coke. But so I don't know why this analogy works for me so well, but it's kind of like a bartender, right? If you're a bartender, you don't predict what people want. you just know how to make a bunch of drinks, and somebody comes up to you and you say, what is it that you want? And they tell you what you want or what they want. And then you turn around, you give them what they want. So it's really based in service of what people want. And then the process of marketing, so that's the essence of marketing. The process of marketing is, how do you deliver that to them? How do you invite them into whatever programs you have or whatever communities you have? How do you give them an experience and then invite them to go further with you? And if you break marketing down to the essence of it and then really approach it that way, several things are going to happen. Number one, it becomes so much easier because now you don't have to be in your intellectual mind trying to predict and trying to sell people and try to figure out all the conversion numbers and the data and all that stuff that really shuts most coaches down. That's not why we got into this. So it's going to simplify your neurology. It'll simplify your thoughts. It'll simplify your mind. It'll simplify your being. Sorry, I just checked into with a few of the comments. Yeah, Sean, let's talk. Off the curb. First of all, I like that name. Does shouting passionately in public speaking aid the speech or hinder? Can you qualify that a little bit? Off the curb. I'm not positive exactly what you are referring to, and I didn't see the comment until a few minutes probably after you wrote it. So if you could qualify that, I appreciate it. So when you understand the essence of marketing, it simplifies things. But the second thing that it will do is it will cut through the noise of most of the other people that are doing the marketing from this hyper and hypey focus on scarcity and extrinsic value and money and success and losing weight and all the things that the intellect is drawn to. A lot of people are using seduction tactics and sales tactics and mind tricks and all of that stuff to try to open people's wallets. That's what marketing has become, especially in the online space. And most people are tired of that. And so when you simplify marketing and you just really come from a place of service, you just have conversations and communicate with people, and you do what you feel is the right thing, and you say what you know, and you just share your message, you throw it out there from a place of just trying to help people instead of trying to sell to people, everything shifts. Your energy will shift because of the simplicity that I already talked about. And because of that, other people will be more attracted to you, and they'll see the authenticity, they'll see the realness, and they might not jump out after you right away. We got a lot of lurkers that are paying attention to a lot of people, and they're just kind of behind the scenes assessing who's real, who can be trusted, who's consistent, who do I really jive with and align with. And those people usually don't jump out because they're not attracted to the hypey magnet, because you're not giving that hypey magnet, right? So you'll have a lot of people that need to hear from you for a while, whether it's a couple times or a couple months or however long it is going to vary, obviously, before they come out. And you have to have faith and trust that those people really need you to keep talking. And what I can tell you is that if you approach marketing from that perspective, it's kind of a 180 approach. Instead of just trying to open people's wallets and try to get into their money right away, it's kind of like dating, right? Are you going after one-night stands, or are you going after relationships? If your whole goal is to just get into one-night stand relationships, you're going to talk about yourself differently. You're going to talk about them differently. You're going to be a lot more seductive. You're going to show up differently if all you really care about is one-night stands, getting into their bed, and then leaving. And that's how a lot of people feel as the consumer, having gone through a lot of marketing, especially online marketing. But if you're more committed to a relationship, you're not going to do a lot of this seductive tactics. You're just not going to show up that way because you're more committed in connection rather than transaction, right? So one of the mind shifts that we have to make, especially for coaches, is be more committed to transformation than transaction. Transaction is when you're just trying to get somebody to pay for your stuff and you're trying to convert. But when you're more concerned about giving them some kind of a transformational experience, whether it's a small one online or a big one in person or anywhere in between, they'll be able to feel that. And they'll know that you're more interested in a relationship than their credit card. I use the truth. It's slow but super reliable. I'm a street preacher. I love it. I preach sometimes gently, but at oftentimes I can be forthright and strong. Perfect. So let's talk about that for a second. Let me make sure I don't lose my train of thought, and then I'll go back to this question. Off the curb. Now that makes total sense. I would imagine if I'm going to connect a few dots, maybe is your name Kirby? With that play off curb. So let me finish these thoughts and I'm going to speak to that. Marketing is about being committed to serving your seeker. Your seeker is the person that's seeking the information that you have. You just got to get in front of them and give them what they want to learn, not what you are committed to teach. That's from your perspective. That's from your ego. That's from your intellect. But if you just ask people what is it that they want, or you pay attention to them and you actually get to know them, spend the time to get to know them, and you'll find out what they really want. You know, one of the principles that I fully believe in is that your most valuable asset from a marketing standpoint is not the letters behind your name. It's not your experience. It's not your speaking skills. It's not your ability to sell. It's not your ability to put up funnels and all the things. It's the perspective of your seeker. If you know what your seeker is dying to learn, if you know what they've tried before and been disappointed by, if you know who they trust, who they don't trust, if you know where they are, what they're looking for, what search words are they typing into Google and YouTube, if you know that stuff, now your business is easy. You just give them what they want. And they'll tell you what to title your programs. They'll tell you what to put into your programs. They'll tell you how to price your programs. They'll tell you exactly what it is they're looking for. But most people, I don't know why, they don't have the guts. They don't know that this is actually one of the concepts and one of the strategies, or they're afraid, or they're just trying to rush into it too fast. They've got their own insecurities or anxieties, or maybe they're afraid of the connection or whatever, but most people actually don't do that. Most people decide what they want to sell and then they teach it and then they try to chase people down and convince them. It's so much easier to sit down and get to know somebody, ask them what they want, and then give it to them. And if you don't have the thing, then make that, if that's really who you are committed to serve. Oh, I have so many stories, but I promised that this would not be a very long live video. So I'm going to hold these stories to future videos. And the details that so many people are looking for depend on everything that I just talked about. Whether you should do a webinar funnel or whether you should do some kind of evergreen sales page online, or whether you should do Facebook ads, or whether you should be on Instagram, all of those details depend on who your seeker is and what you're giving to them. Because you can take this blueprint that somebody else has made, 9 figures with, and if you serve a different seeker with a different product who's in different areas, that template ain't going to work. So don't be chasing the templates and the blueprints. Build your marketing structure from a place of service to the seeker. That's how your business should be built. You're in the middle of your business. Your seeker is right next to you. Your business structure should be built around the two of you. And it's frustrating to me when I see so many people asking about the structure that they should build and then just blindly following people who are teaching their structures. But those people are selling different products to different people. So how can you copy a structure in a business where a different person is in the middle serving a different client, but you want to copy their structure? That's crazy. But it's because we have so many people that are chasing their intellect and wanting those quick fixes that there's so much of that stuff on the market, right? The supply follows the demand. So when we as consumers are demanding quick fixes, then the suppliers are going to give us what we're demanding and what we're paying for. But most of you, if you're still listening to me after a couple sentences, you're probably not one of those people. Otherwise, I would turn you off immediately. So you have to be more true to yourself and more committed to your seeker. Yeah, Steve says, I let my clients do 90% of the talking. Absolutely. We should not only let our clients do 90% of the talking when they're our clients, but we should also listen to our prospects more than we are talking to our prospects. Pay attention to what they're wanting. The last thing I want to say in marketing, and then I'll go to the off the curb ministries question here, is that when you adopt this approach, what will happen is you will become distinct. Our world is so distracted. The most valuable thing that our prospects give us is their attention, because their attention is so distracted nowadays. And in order to get the attention of people, you can really do it one of two ways. You can be better than the other people who are competing for their attention, or you can be different. So different that they have to pay attention to you. Because if you understand how the unconscious mind works, the unconscious mind is a categorizing machine. The unconscious mind would go crazy, and we as humans would go crazy if we really focused on every bit of information that's available to us. So the unconscious mind is taking on all of this input on a daily basis, and it's just categorizing almost without, not almost, literally without conscious thought for almost everything. That way we can pay attention to the things that make most sense to us, right? Or that we're not make most sense, but the things that are most important to us. That's what I meant. And the thing is, it takes what it gets and then it puts it into folders that have already been established. That's why we don't pay attention to most of the things that we could pay attention to. But if you show up as different, the people out there don't have a folder to put you in. And if they don't have a folder to put you in, the unconscious mind has to pay attention. It cannot. Listen to what I'm about to say. The brain cannot ignore something it's never seen before if there's any amount of value in it. It can't ignore it because it doesn't have a folder to put it into. It doesn't have a category, so it has to pay attention. That's why in today's world, more often than not, it's actually better to be different than it is to be better. I'd rather you start a different conversation than try to win a conversation that there's already a lot of competition in. So that's what this different approach of marketing will give you, is it'll give you distinction, it'll give you authenticity, it'll give you a way to cut through all the noise. And that's where a lot of the loyalty and trust happens. All right, let's go to Off the Curb Ministries. He says, what if, I'll paraphrase, what if I just speak loudly and passionately? Passion is usually very contagious. One of the reasons that marketing messages are not as attractive as they could be is because a lot of marketing messages are intellectual by nature. They're driven by the intellect speaking to the intellect. And the intellect does not have passion. It does not have the capacity to feel. The intellect is like the computer. It's our heart that has the emotion. It's our heart that has the passion. And so when we are passionate about something, it puts out a passionate magnet and it attracts people's passion. It attracts people's emotion from a different place. You know, they don't get attracted by the intellect. And then they're going to assess whether they agree or not. Now, the danger, if you will, I'm putting it in quotes because I don't want to say that you don't want this to happen, but if you attract somebody with passion, you attract somebody with your heart and you attract their heart, and then they really listen to you and they don't agree with you, they'll probably hate you, right? Because when they jump in and they get vulnerable by being attracted to your passion, if you're stepping on their beliefs, you might scare them And when people are vulnerable and scared, they tend to project that fear onto other people in the form of blaming or judging or some kind of irrational statements or actions sometimes. But that's what we want. That really, truly is what we want. That's why I put the danger in air quotes. It's only dangerous if you don't care about really, truly attracting the people who are assigned to you. See, I believe that we are all assigned to certain people and certain people are assigned to us. The only way that they can confirm whether they're assigned to us and aligned with us, oh, I like the way that rhymes a little bit. Not a little bit, I like that a lot. So it's about assignment and alignment. I'm going to have to come up with another alignment word, maybe refinement or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get too corny, but people are assigned to us, but they can only really confirm that assignment and confirm the alignment if we are passionate, if we have the guts, the testicles or the ovaries, depending on which one you have, if we have the guts to actually show people what we care about, actually show people what we're passionate about. And then the ones who are aligned with that passion will come closer. The ones who are not aligned will self-remove, right? They will self-select out or in based on our passion. If we only attract them with our intellect, they'll be on the fence for a long time, maybe always. And we don't want people on the fence. We want people to love us or hate us. Now, they're not really truly going to hate us. Very rarely will they hate us. And even though I made a statement a few minutes ago that sometimes if people are brought into your passion, they might hate you if they're scared of it, that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes they will lovingly self-select out, but they'll still admire the passion. So the people that I would say are a little bit more evolved and a little bit less judgy or blamey or projecty, all the projectile judgers out there, right? For those of you that are parents, you probably know the phrase projectile vomiting. There is a lot of projectile judging out there. And some people will do that and some people won't, but they need to see your passion. So I would say for the most part, that kind of passion is what's necessary for people to select in or select out. You just have to be willing to give them that opportunity. And then you have to have the body for people self-selecting out. And you have to have the body for people selecting in. See, if people go, I love what you're about, tell me more, and you don't have the body to lead them, then that might freak you out. You don't have the capacity. You don't have the neurology, right? Then that could actually be scary for you as the leader. So we have to have the body to lead the people that want to come into our living room. And then we also have to have the body to see that some people are going to get up out of the living room and run out the door and slam it behind them. And we have to have the body to deal with that abandonment or rejection or self-selection, whatever the labels are that we give it. And as long as we have the body for that, then turn the passion up as much as you can. Obviously, within reason, boundaries. You don't want to be disrespectful and I don't know where you go and, what exactly you are screaming about at the top of your lungs, but I applaud the willingness to scream about whatever it is that you believe in and advocate for people, as long as there are boundaries of respect and that you're not angering other people or getting angered by other people's responses. So we can take that context that Off the Curb is talking about, he does, and take the same concept, apply it to different contexts as well. So be passionate with your Facebook posts, or be passionate with your Instagram posts or stories. Be passionate with your emails. The more passion that you provide, the more that magnet will allow people to self-select in or self-select out. So that's not easy for a lot of people to do because people get triggered. But if you have I don't know if you heard those cracks. There was like 7 cracks right there in my neck. If you have the body to handle other people's choices, then the more passion you show, the better. Pretty much all the time, within some considerations. The last thing I want to talk about is mindset. I've already talked about a few of these things. Let me know if you guys are agreeing with me, if you're disagreeing with me, if you have any comments that you want to add or stories that you want to share. Please do that. Boy, this third one is mindset. And here's my commitment. I'm going to do this for no more than 6 minutes. I'm going to set a timer, 6 minutes. So when my timer goes off, I stop speaking about mindset. Although my phone is almost out of battery. So if my phone dies before that timer goes off, I didn't break my promise. Mindset. The inner game is everything. Most coaches fail because they don't have the body for their fears. They don't have the capacity to hold the conversations that they want to get into with themselves or with other people. They just don't get over whatever their rejection fears are, abandonment and all these things that we have as human beings, right? When we try to attack our fears from the same source that they originate from, we're always just going to be in a debate with our fears. And our fears originate from our intellect. So if we try to out-intellect our fears, we're always going to be in this perpetual wrestling match. We have to out-serve our fears. We have to out-heart our fears. We can't outrun them. We can't out-smart them. We have to out-love them. And service is based in love. So we have to out-love our fears. And love has the power to overcome the intellect. But most of us are so afraid to tap into that, or we don't have the faith that love will actually win the battle, because most of marketing and most of business is done from an intellectual place. So we don't see the examples, or we don't have the personal examples of being able to outlove our fears. But that's really the answer. And I want to give you a couple implementable concepts here so that it's not just this big conceptual, just, hey, outlove your fears. You've got to focus on serving, and the more individual your seeker is, the more power your service will have. So if you identify a single woman out there, let's say you want to help moms after divorce. Let's say you want to help single moms who've been divorced. If you start thinking about the market of single moms and you start focusing on all the other teachers and coaches and all the people that speak about that and how can you outmarket them, it's not going to work, especially if you're starting out. But if you think about Jody, the single mom who was divorced 6 months ago, and she was dependent on her husband emotionally, financially, spiritually, in just about every way for 12 years. And now she has 3 kids that are her responsibility full time. And you start thinking about the fears that Jody has, the questions that she has. What is she crying herself to sleep at night, wondering about? What is she deeply afraid of? If she came up to you and she said, how do I blank? How do I do this? How do I get back up when I've fallen so hard? How do I stay strong for my kids? How do I not rage against my ex who left us? If there really was a single person that was looking you in the eyes, asking you these questions, your power of service would come out. And in that moment, you wouldn't be asking yourself, what's the perfect thing I could say to Jody? I can't answer this question unless I have my elevator speech down. And how am I going to get into Jody's wallet? How am I going to make sure that she converts? You're not going to be thinking about any of that shit. You're just going to answer her heart-driven question with your heart-driven knowledge. That's the power of service. And the more clear you get on a single person, the easier it will be for you to drop into that connection and into that knowledge without your head getting in the way. So if we can go down to that level first, then we can build up from there. And all of the fears that most people struggle with, I got 90 seconds left. All of the fears that most people struggle with are above that level. So if we can drop down into that level, into our core humanity and connect with somebody else's core humanity, then we can build up from there. And it's so much easier. Most of the fears will go away just by doing that. And then there will be some that we actually have to deal with, but a lot of those are going to be individual in nature. So that's my main message for you, is to get so committed and connected to somebody's desires and their pain and their struggles that your head doesn't even get involved with all the stuff that it usually gets involved in. Because all those fears are based on safety. How do you stay safe and comfortable? How do you keep from getting abandoned or keep from getting judged or keep from getting rejected? You're either more committed to your own safety or you're more committed to other people's service. It really is that simple. When you are sabotaging, I'll say we, because I do this too. When we are sabotaging ourselves in any way, shape, or form, we are more committed to our safety than serving another human. When we are in action, we are more committed to serving another human than we are to our safety. And when we're committed to that service, most of the things that we think we need to be kept safe from don't even become an issue. So let me know what your thoughts are. I've got a couple questions here that I can answer. Sean, Michelle, Steve, thank you all for commenting. I'm not positive I've got all the up-to-date comments here, but keep engaging however you want. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. You've been around me long enough to know that I don't usually end anything inside of 6 minutes. So a few questions. Some of these questions might have already been answered. And then I'll stick around to see if any of you have any questions for a few minutes. Number one, how do I create clients online? First of all, it's tough. It's a tough, competitive market online. A lot of the people that are doing really well online and then subsequently teach how they do well online, they've got hired guns. You know, they've spent a lot of time and a lot of money perfecting those online strategies. So by the time we see the strategies, thank you for that, Steve. I really appreciate that. By the time we see the strategies, we don't know what's gone into all the months or years before we see the strategy. And yet then we want to just emulate the strategy right away. You just can't do that. There's so much that goes into it. The online marketing space is so highly competitive. I usually talk about it as a shark tank. There are sharks and they are big and their teeth are sharp. And I don't mean to say that the online marketers are bad people. This is not a values judgment. I'm just making a distinction between sharks and dolphins, right? The shark tank is highly competitive and it's highly masculine. And it's highly driven by conversions and money, and all that stuff is fine if that's where you want to be. That's not where I want to be, and that's not where most people that like listening to me want to be. So if you're still listening to me, you're probably a dolphin and not a shark. And yet a lot of the dolphins are asking questions that are basically different variations of, how do I out-shark the sharks? My answer is usually going to be, don't try, because you're not a shark. And I would rather you succeed in the dolphin pool, playing and being more creative and being more lovey, then move to the online space. See, the online space is not where you should be learning your lessons. The online space is where you should be scaling what you've already learned. When you're trying to learn in the online world, it's very dangerous because it usually costs money to do that. To compete against the online marketers, you're going to have to spend money. And unless you have this huge pile of money to burn, which is fine if you do, and it's fine if you want to play that game. I'm not saying there's one game that's better than the other. I'm just saying that you got to know where your lane is. You got to be either in the Shark Tank or the dolphin pool and know wherever you are, there are different rules. But most people are trying to win the online marketing game in ways that aren't aligned with who they are. So my first reaction to any kind of question that's like, how do I do anything online, is slow down. Do you even want to be online? At least from a marketing standpoint. Now, I think everybody should be online, but you might not need to have Facebook ads, or you might not need to be marketing online and actually trying to sell things. But I think everybody should be online because it's actually one of the ways that you can get your message out there that I was talking about earlier. You can just talk and talk and talk and talk and get feedback from other people and listen to yourself. So the online space is great for a lot of reasons. It's not great for people that don't have a viable product that you're willing to bet on. It's not great to spend money to try to learn what's going to work. But the online space is great to do market research. It's great to connect with people. It's great to show your authenticity. It's great to pay attention to what other people are doing. It's fantastic to connect. But when you try to make money off of it, it actually poisons the essence of it for a lot of people. So my take for most people is, let's wait until you're ready to scale something that's already successful in the online space. Before that, let's figure out what works. So I'll give you an example. I have a client who just sent me a text yesterday. Her name's Christine. Christine gave me permission to share this story with you. Christine has done some of the things that a lot of people have done. She's done webinars and she's done some like online programs and so forth, and hasn't had a whole lot of success. She's had some success and she's had some wins. Not a huge amount of money, you know, windfall or just overflowing with financial success, nor did I have any of that for like the first 7 months, right? So people have this expectation. You just do a live event, you just do a webinar, you just do an online program, you're going to make all this money. No. I didn't, and I don't know too many people that do. But Christine recently started to network, and she started to open herself up to do live presentations for smaller groups. They don't necessarily have to be small groups, but compared to the online space, for sure. And so recently she did a group presentation with 4 people in the room. Now, a lot of people, if you're paying attention to the big number stories, you're like, 4 people. I mean, that's just not a lot. But those are 4 human beings. Those are 4 Jodies that showed up and gave her, I think it was 20 minutes of her time, of their time collectively. And Christine served her ass off, and she gave them a transformation. She didn't sell to them for 15 to 20 minutes. She gave them a transformation. So 20 minutes later, based on what she taught them, they actually felt a shift. And then she offered follow-up conversations for anybody that was interested. 3 of them said yes to the follow-up conversation. And 1 of them just hired her the other day, last night, just hired her. And she gave me permission to share the numbers. It was over $1,600 for a coaching package. So here is a small presentation for 20 minutes. And Christine, with no marketing dollars spent, made $1,600. That's pure profit for the time. I mean, she's giving her time, but there are no hard costs. There are no delivery costs. There's none of that stuff. And for most people, your earlier stages of value creation and learning are going to be more like that than jumping out into the online world and doing webinars and closing people and getting a bunch of coaching clients. It's just not easy. Now, if you are determined to do it, awesome. Nothing that I ever say about how to market lives in the right or wrong category. It's just alignment. Here's my definition of right or wrong. Does it work? If it works, then it's right. If it doesn't work, then it's wrong. And it's not even about labeling anything right or wrong. It's, did it produce what you want? And if it did, keep doing it. And if it didn't, change the recipe. It's just that simple. We spend too much time chasing right and wrong. And those labels are horrible for our inner game, trying to figure out what's right and wrong. Because we have a deep fear of being wrong that for most of us stems all the way back to being punished as a child for doing something wrong, whatever it is. So these are deep, deep human wounds that we have that come up in how to market our business. And it's just so much easier to let all that stuff go and be more connected, like I was saying. So anyway, you know, Christine just made a lot of money and is providing a lot of value in a relatively small area in terms of the proximity of the people that are there. But she did it by connecting. She did it by connection and really giving a damn about the people in the room, giving them an experience rather than an expectation. And she's being rewarded as a byproduct of that. And who knows, maybe she'll sign the other 2 people up also. I don't know. But that is a scalable process. And once she gets clear on the messaging that really starts to attract people, then we can start to take that online. So that's where I generally default to for most people is, let's make sure your thing works. Let's make sure your thing is valuable. And the measurability of value isn't determined by you or I. It's determined by them. Are they showing up? Are they buying? Are they asking for more? Are they engaging? Your prospects, your seekers will tell you what's valuable or not. If you have the guts, the humility to put down your ego and pay attention to how people vote, and they vote with their attention, they vote with their engagement, and they vote with their money. If you pay attention to how people vote, then it's so much easier. You just get out of your head, and it's more powerful that way. So anyway, that's usually my initial response to how do you get people online. Make sure something works first, and then connect online. All the details are dependent on what you sell, who you are, etc. And a lot of your seekers are not online. They're not on Pinstagram. They're not on Pinterest. They're not on Instagram. They're not on Facebook. If they are, go there. If they're not, don't go there. It doesn't matter how many people have made $1 million on Instagram. If your seekers are not on Instagram, save your $7, because your $7 for their report or their program or whatever the dollar amount is useless because it doesn't align with who your people are and where your people are. No disrespect to the people selling the $7 Instagram programs. If that's where your people are, awesome. Buy the $700 thing. Buy the $7,000 thing. I've paid so much money in private coaches. So much money in private coaches. I just hired Sunny. I spoke about her a little while ago recently. And the payoff is tremendous when there's alignment. The payoff is tremendous. The return on investment is ridiculous. Anyway, so that's how you create clients online. There's no right way to market. Connection, connection, connection. Aw, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate that. I thought it was just because we had the same name and I spell mine wrong. Yeah, Michelle says redefining right changed everything. True that. Second question, how do I create content consistently? It flows when I'm in a session, but when I try to sit down, I go completely blank. It's probably because when you try to sit down, you get intellectual. Creating content is really about opening the channel of content creation. I have become a content freak because I can just create. But I've been doing this for 12 years and I've been talking a lot and I haven't had that channel as open the whole time. So 12 years ago, I was in a similar situation a lot of people are in, where I would sit down and try to come up with content for a 10-minute talk. And it was so difficult for me. Now, I mean, I could honestly probably do a 5-day workshop with, 3 words. Give me 3 words and we'll do 5 days. Because I've been in the conversation so long. I have so many personal experiences. I've gone to seminars. I counted the other day, and I forget what the number was now, but I've been in seminar rooms something like 350 or 400 days of my life. I've put in so much work that it's easy for me to recall based on my experiences and create content. But 12 years ago, I didn't have all those experiences, but I started. And so you've got to open up the channel. Instead of demanding you to be really good at creating content before you start. Do a YouTube channel. Start doing a bunch of videos. Here's the thing. You can do videos and then not publish them. You can write blog articles and then not publish them. Or if you don't like them, you can take them down. You could do videos in your house, in your garage, out and about, and not put them up. But most people are so afraid to actually turn the camera on and do a video because their video isn't going to be great. But until you turn the camera on, you can't become better. And if you look at anybody who's done something over a long period of time, and then you look at some of their first works, it's embarrassing. I looked at one of my first videos on YouTube the other day, and it was so painful for me to see that. But I got proud because that awful video led to the second video, which was a little bit less awful. And then it just became, and then they were just terrible. And then they were just bad. And then they were just mediocre. And then they were okay. And then they were decent. And then they were good. But you have to go through that evolution. So the way that you create content is by creating content. And sometimes you might have to sit down and just start writing. Even if you don't know what to write, just start writing. I don't know what to write. I wish I knew what to write. Right now, if I had anything to write, I would say this. Oh, life is about love. And you just might start something that then opens up the creative channel. But you're not going to open up the creative channel by using your intellectual perspective. The other thing I would say is be in the conversation as often as possible, meaning listen to podcasts, watch other people's videos who are in the similar market or talking about the same kinds of topics that you talk about. If you listen to what other people have to say, naturally, it's going to trigger thoughts of yours, and then just take notes. Constantly take notes on ideas that you have based on other people's conversations. Pretty soon, you'll have a bunch of notes for yourself as well. I'm going to open up one of my Evernote notes for you, and I'll just show you how many bullets I have. YouTube video ideas. Actually, I have like 9 different notes on all these ideas. I might not even be able to find it. Video ideas. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it. It's short. Anyway, if I don't find it, it's okay. Oh man, yeah, I got a lot. I'm not going to find it, but I've got probably, I would say, I gave you a lower number earlier, those of you that were on. I've probably got literally 300 bullets. And one of the things that I did, yes, you can only get better after you start. One of the things that I did is I looked at a bunch of different blogs of other coaches that were in my market, and I took down, actually I had somebody else do this for me. I took down like their top 30 blog posts. And so now I have a collection of like 200 blog post topics from other people. And all I got to do is look at that and go, what are my thoughts on that topic? What are my thoughts on that topic? What are my thoughts on that topic? Now I have an unending supply of topics. And if I run through those 200, if I do a video a week on all of those 200 topics that other people gave me, that's it's almost 4 years. And then I'll just look at what they've done in the last 4 years, and then I'll have another 200 topics. There is no shortage. Nobody has an excuse as to not having content, because there is no shortage of content out there. And if you pay attention with an open mind and curiosity, show up to serve, you will unlock your content channel and then just let it go. And it starts going and going and going, and people tell you what they like, and people start asking questions, and then your creativity channel starts to flow. But don't expect your creativity channel to just magically get to the 10,000 hours without actually going through that process. The final question somebody sent in was, how do I work with teenagers? Whew, that's a big one. This is a coaching context. How do I work with teenagers? Teenagers are humans, and obviously they have generational values, and they have language, and they have perspectives that we might not have as adults. But if we just drop our awareness of human behavior down to the core, it all applies to teenagers, right? The same concepts of good coaching, of connected coaching, of building rapport, that applies to teenagers. Having leverage, the same leverage, and by leverage, I mean, what's the reason that somebody has to make a change in their life? The same leverage that applies to adults with children are not going to apply to teenagers that don't have kids. They haven't even been in the workforce, a lot of them, or they don't have experiences of, marriages that have failed and all the things that a lot of adults have. So the examples of leverage are different, but they still need leverage. In order for them to want to make any kind of change in their life and whatever they want to make, it's important that it's their choice. And then whatever they choose to do, we as coaches, our job is to really guide them to design some kind of a game plan. And then from that, we can look at accountability. We can look at whatever support they need. So at a conceptual level, I just rattled off about 6 or 7 things that I think are important. And if any of you wrote any of those down, can you comment and tag me in there if you can? So those concepts can be applied to anybody. And the cool thing is when we coach, we should not show up with the answers. The best coaches are not answering machines, they're asking machines. So instead of deciding what this teenager needs for leverage, ask them. Instead of deciding what they should do, ask them. Now, what I will say as it relates to younger people, millennials and Generation Z kids, who's the current generation of children growing up, they do not like rules. So if you try to coach or lead or parent by rules, you're probably going to create more rebellion than if you coach or lead or parent by choice. If you give people choices and then you help them see what their choices will lead to, and then you give them the space to choose, you're generally going to have more commitment to their choices. They will have more commitment to their choices than they will to your rules. So with the younger generations, now I think that's true for all humans, but it's even more true for the younger humans. When you try to put them in a box and tell them what to do because these are the rules, you're going to have a lot more pushback than if you guide them to the choices. And then coaching is actually really easy. It's so much easier to help a younger person, a teenager in this case, so much easier to help a teenager realize what they want and make sure that it's something that they really truly want, and then help them identify the path that will get them there. See, most people do have leverage in getting what they want. It's just that a lot of times our younger generation isn't supported in what they want, or they forget what they want, and it's easy to fall into the traps of being approved of by friends and what have you. But when we can get a human back to connecting with what they want, there's a lot of leverage. There's a lot of internal inspiration. There's a lot of intrinsic motivation to get what we want. And if we can tap into the intrinsic motivation instead of the extrinsic motivation coming from outside, intrinsic is coming from inside. If we can get them connected to the intrinsic things that they want and then help them identify the path to get there, they will be more committed to that path because it's coming from what they want rather than somebody saying, this is the path that you need to follow. They'll be like, why? And if you say, because I want you to, or because you're supposed to, or because you live in my house and these are my rules, or because this is just what you have to do, right? I mean, listen, if that's what you want to do, and we're talking about your kids or your sports teams or whatever, great. Lead how you want to lead. But I can just virtually promise you that you will get more buy-in from them to their choices than from them to your rules. That is just a blanket statement that I will make and stand by pretty much all the time. Now, if the teenager can't get there, or if they aren't committing to that, well, then those are unique scenarios that we have to deal with on a case-by-case basis. But don't decide that the teenager is going to just try to break the rules, that the teenager is not going to follow what you say that they should do. Don't decide that they are going to be rebellious. Make their rebelliousness be something that they bring to the table rather than you bringing to the table. And what you'll find is that many of them, and I would say most of them, don't actually have that. And I do speak from some experience here. I was a school teacher for 6 or 7 years, and I was a probation officer before that. And one of the things that I did when I was a probation officer is I didn't scare kids with crime and punishment or criminal punishment. I just used to ask them questions about themselves. You know, I remember asking one kid so clearly, I remember this so clearly. I said, what if the bullet that was meant for you hit your little sister? And he started crying. This is a 15-year-old kid. I think, you know, he might have held up a liquor store with a shotgun or something, right? I mean, he was doing violent crimes. And I just asked him a simple question. He started crying. Because I was able in that moment to tap into something he really cared about. And that will cause him to make different choices than where are the cops and what if we get caught and how can I avoid getting caught or what's the punishment, right? He just came from a different place. And so I believe that all humans have that. Some humans may have, you know, drugged themselves out of it or done something else to where they're not in touch with it. But for the most part, humans have that. And when we can do that, regardless of what age they are, what culture they are, any of the details will bring them back into their heart and into the core humanity. And it's so much easier to lead from there. So that's what I got. I used to be a pitcher too. I was a damn good pitcher. Get out of your head as you speak. Our ideas need oxygen. Yes. So I just appreciate you guys so much. I know there are a baker's dozen of people, if my notification here is correct. If you do have something, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, if you have a question, I'll open it up for a couple minutes. If there are no questions that come in the stream in a couple minutes, then we'll just go ahead and close this off. And obviously you can ask questions via email or via these comments or what have you. For those of you that are still here, if you missed some of the early announcements, how do I block Michelle? I can block you. I can put you in timeout. I remember that. I can report you. I can remove you. But my favorite is I can put the user in timeout. You better watch yourself. Don't make me come back there. For those of you that missed a couple of the announcements, I'm shifting my published days to Mondays instead of Thursdays. It wasn't working out for my production schedule to get these videos out on Thursdays. So you'll see my videos come out on Mondays now. And I really welcome the engagement that you have. Ask questions on my videos. I answer all of them. Sometimes I'll ask other questions of you. So make sure you have your notifications turned on in YouTube. If you don't know if you have your notifications turned on or you don't generally see notifications when other people respond to your comments and so forth, just go into the settings area inside YouTube and there's a notifications tab in there. And then you can click the things that say when people reply to my comments or when people respond to my comments, like engage, you know, if they like your comment, you'll get a notification. So make sure those are turned on and you will get notifications when people respond to your comments, such as myself. And I think that was pretty much it. So I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you so much. I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go get a celebration donut, though. I did that after my last video. I'm going to, I'll go probably watch the Dodger game. I didn't intentionally wear the Dodger blue, but I'm a Dodger fan out here, and they've got a playoff game here starting pretty soon. Or maybe it already started. I don't know. You are welcome. And I forget, you said that was your old account. I think that was Carrie. You're welcome, Carrie. Thank you for that. A marketing course. Cool. So I am going to do a marketing course. It's going to be called The Foundations of Marketing for Coaches. I've been putting this together for literally over a year. There are some people that got into the course over a year ago, and I just haven't started it yet because I wasn't ready to start it. I knew there was more content. I just knew. So we've just been doing mastermind sessions for a long, long time, and we are getting ready to start it in a few weeks from the time that I'm recording this right now. So probably in November. There will be details on it. You can send me emails and tag me and follow me on social media or what have you. If you're on our email list, you will definitely be hearing about it because I'll be talking about it. And it's going to be a whole year. It's going to be a year-long course. It's not going to be a big investment for a whole year of support. I'm going to give you everything I got with the inner game and the marketing details and all the stuff, but it's got to come from the place that I was talking about. You, your seeker in the center, and then the structure around that. It's going to have a live event too. We're going to have a live event in a couple months from now, right here in this studio. So you'll hear more about that. If you have specific questions, let me know. I am consisting of, I'm guessing you're asking what the content is. Oh, everything. Not only is it everything that I want to share, I mean, it's inner game and it's outer game. So it's website, social media marketing, selling, building certain funnels, all the things that people are really looking for. But deeper than that, it's inner game. It's identifying who your seeker is, having the passion that we talked about a little bit earlier, the messaging, what's your signature talk, how do you get over the fears, how do you get over this imposter syndrome that a lot of people are talking about, how do you really show up in service, how do you clear the mirror. See, I'm a life coach, so I've been helping people clear their inner traumas or fears or limiting beliefs for 12 years. That's what most coaches need too. So this is going to be like a life coaching course for life coaches or business coaches, and then marketing on top of that. But they go hand in hand, right? So we're going to be doing, like, one foot is going to be marketing and the other foot is going to be inner game, and we're going to be going back and forth. But I will also have Q&A sessions in there, and you'll literally help co-create the content with me, because whatever questions you have, I will create the content live while we build the program. I'm doing the whole program live. It's not something that I filmed and you're just going to get it, static videos. It's going to be all live with me. So it's going to be co-created. That's why I say there's nothing that we won't cover, because if there's anything that you have in your mind that you're struggling with, I'll answer it. I'll do a whole video on it, or we'll do it at the live event, or we'll do it in Q&A sessions and what have you. So it'll be Foundation of Marketing for Coaches. I don't have any sales copy or anything like that right now, but I will get some stuff out pretty soon. All right, you all, I appreciate you so much. I'm going to end this live stream video just shy of 90 minutes. When I said 30 minutes earlier, that's actually kind of what I meant. I meant 90 minutes. So I'm going to hold to that word. Thank you, Michelle, for all of that. I appreciate your comments about the mastermind calls. And yeah, Michelle's been with us the whole time. All right, you guys, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, agreements, disagreements, other information that you want me to talk about, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.